Good morning, Museum High. My name's Farron Edie.
And I'm Zeke Dublé.
And welcome back to another episode of Studio 502 News.
Today we will be discussing voting from every corner of the country, from the Democratic caucuses to our very own school election.
Now we move on to our next story about recent political developments in the White House.
Earlier this year, Donald Trump was accused of contacting Ukraine and asking them to help him run against Joe Biden in this year's presidential election. In the first few months of 2020, there was a court case pitting Donald Trump against these accusations. During this case, many congressmen and women told their opinion on the matter and whether or not Donald Trump should be punished. In the conclusion of the case, President Trump has been acquitted from these accusations and has pleaded innocent of this crime. One day after the decision has been made, Donald Trump attended a national prayer breakfast. Well, at this event, he began to insult his political opponents, calling them things such as corrupt, evil, and dishonest. This agreement continued during this event as many political figures gave speeches talking about this decision and the effects it will have as we continue this political race.
Speaking of this year's political race, the 2020 election is well on its way, as Democrat Pete Buttigieg edged out the fellow Democrat Bernie Sanders at Iowa caucus on February 3rd. About 2 weeks ago, the New Hampshire caucus saw candidate Bernie Sanders pulling ahead of Pete Buttigieg on the 11th. In the events of the Nevada caucus, Bernie Sanders won yet again. The South Carolina caucus will take place tomorrow on Leap Day.
Now for another amazing episode of, well, you know.
Filmed live in front of a studio audience, it's the Esteban Movie Corner. This is the saddest thing. This is so sad. Hello, and welcome to my movie corner. Today I'll be reviewing the recently released cinematic masterpiece known only as Playmobil, the movie.
Disney veteran Lino DeSalvo returns with a cinematic masterpiece written by Blaise Hemingway. The film follows the story of ordinary Playmobil figure Blemmet, who discovers that he is the chosen one. Blemmet and his friends have to work together and go on an epic journey to defeat the evil tyrant, King Corporation.
Adam, that sounds a lot like the Lego movie.
Yes, much like the toy it is based upon, Playmobil the movie attempts, but ultimately fails, to imitate a much better product.
Overall, I'd give this film 100 rads.
As in Daniel Radcliffe?
No, as in it's radioactive and it'll kill ya.
Thanks for that great Movie Corner episode, Esteban. Now we move on to school announcements.
Despite reasonable amounts of snow, GRPS has yet to call any snow days. In other news, sophomore Emery Herring took 51% of the vote for mayor over a mere 5 candidates in the school's election, which is the quietest election in museum school history. Recent polls showed that only 2 people out of the 140-ish people at the school actually paid attention to the race.
Meanwhile, Jordan Frisma and Torrin Hodgman won the sophomore commissioner roles, while Rudy Ortiz and Jordi Romero won freshman spots. They were the only people who actually ran for the spot. Congrats to all the people who ran, and we'll look forward to see how the school will change over the next few months.
That is all for this episode of Studio 502 TV. We'll see you next time.